Commander Cockins and Captain Fody here yet again for another Trekyards mission briefing, STO style, which, as you all know by now, is Star Trek Online, the interesting, diverse, and sometimes weird ships of Star Trek Online. There are some gems, and what we're looking at today, Stuart.
This week we're looking at a very cool and interesting design that I happened to pick to discuss from the Star Trek Online lineup, and that is the Manticore class. It's kind of like the Prometheus, only I think cooler.
And I hadn't even ever seen this ship in the game, so I'm kind of like, oh, cool, okay. And
I didn't see it till I started looking up Star Trek Online ships, and I want this ship.
And this first picture is beautiful. I mean, absolutely incredible.
Like I said, this is an amazing looking ship. It's kind of got the Nebula style thing there for the sensor palette thing, and then the Prometheus style double stacked warp engines. Oh, beautiful.
And then the Sovereign style bridge, so it's very much of a evolution. And it's got Icarus style impulse engines in the pylons, but that's later on. I mean, if this is the model from the game, it's beautiful because this looks super detailed. I mean, I'm just as a 3D designer or 3D renderer, this is lovely. USS Ulysses.
Ulysses?
Maybe, but there's a little bit of space. NCC 91119-B.
Yeah, it's the USS Ulysses.
Ulysses, right. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that strikes my eye, but what strikes your eye, Australia? What's the first thing?
Those huge Bizarre collectors.
They're lovely.
Just the overall shape of the ship, and that sensor thing on the top, it almost seems out of place, but at the same time it works so well with this design.
Yeah, same for me. The first thing is those engines. I mean, they're beautiful. That is a lovely evolution. Like, it feels so Trek. It keeps everything, but it's something different, and it feels very active. And you've got, you know, the blue parts there. They're separated to, you know, one's the lower part and that's the top part, and gives it a whole different feel. And you see the sensor pod has two great torpedo launchers in the front, but feels alive because of the blue. Also, at the front of the saucer, you've got those 4 torpedo launchers as well, so it's pretty well armed. And phaser strips all along. You've got those 4 separate phaser strips. So
I like the 4 separate phaser strips. That's kind of cool. All right, let's move on to the next photo. This is Manticore class Heavy Destroyer Orthos. Wow.
Heavy Destroyer. Cool.
The side view is a little odd. It's kind of
a weird one.
It is a little thick, but
it bulks out dramatically, and you have no sense of that because it looks like a kind of a sleek ship. But then it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Oof.
I like it though. I normally thick ships like that I'm not a huge fan of, but I think this works kind of well.
It looks like the TOS cargo transporter thing, for the animated series. It's got that sort of big bucket at the front.
It also kind of looks like the Akira from the side, where the Akira is kind of bulked out there with the deflector.
Yes, although the Akira is very sleek. This is very like, here's a moving van stick. But yeah, I mean, I think the only thing you really get to see here is that the escape pods are more obvious. And there's even 4 escape pods on the sensor dome, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and does it separate into 2 separate ships?
Maybe?
Because that would be very cool and very Prometheus-y style. I can't see it doing it. Kind of based on the struts back there. But
yeah, they're too thin. But if there's an impulse engine in the sensor dome, you could see the bottom bit, because there's so much in that deflector portion. If it's separated into that could work. Be interesting. I do like the impulse engines in the struts. I like that.
Yes, that's a great design idea. Absolutely.
And clear shuttle bay as well. It's got all the famous features, but in cool little configuration. It's quite for the top view is very Excalibur-like, the big heavy destroyer, the sort of ish cannon one, but less bulky. So that's also got the four nacelles. Clearly an influence for this design. Well, this one's a bit more. I mean, do you get heavy destroyer vibe from this?
No, I get more of a science ship vibe, to be perfectly honest with you.
As do I. Like,
although
very capable.
The 4 impulse engines are kind of necessary for a heavy destroyer, I can see. So
4 impulse engines or 4 warp engines?
Or 4 warp engines.
Nacelles, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, or just super long range. I mean, you know, the Constellation's not a warship, is it?
True.
So the next photo is it in game to prove it isn't in game because the other ones are so nice. Yeah, looks great. Not much I can say really.
No, although I do like you said, this placement of those impulse engines, beautiful, beautiful. And are those photon torpedo launchers in the front of that sensor palette? Cool. Yeah. Right, so the next photo is of the bottom and the deflector, and it's very looks like a
Interesting.
megamel shark. It's this big, huge thing.
Yes,
Well, it looks like two different kind of deflectors.
it does absolutely, as if they had the very E style and like we'll refit it and just plug something on to increase the
One's
power.
probably a deflector, one's probably a sensor array.
Yeah, or a slipstream. I mean, that's possible.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Although every ship has slipstream in Star Trek Online if you're high enough level. But
Yeah.
I like it more now. It's not just a solid piece. It's kind of sleeker than I thought. Do you think it would have worked better though if that bottom bulk would have gone further into the back, like rather than cut off there and make it a super thin end, go right up until the end?
Yeah, I think a more streamlined kind of straight line up to the back of the strut area would have been much.
Or even slightly further back, like push it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that'd be interesting to see. I got to get my pencil out and draw now. I want to redesign this a little bit because I like this.
Cool. No, it's a great choice. Great choice. So the next picture is again the side view. I'm still torn if I like the under bulk. If they'd just taken a fourth or a fifth off, that I think would have been much sleeker. I'm torn.
Or like you said, just extend it to the curve back would have really helped the profile of the ship.
I'm quite interested in.
But there's got to be some kind of reason for that, maybe. Who knows?
Cargo space, perhaps.
Or the line of sight engine row.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm interested. What is the part? Is that sort of dome thing in between the two engines? What is that?
It looks like a thermostat. It's like an old school thermostat control.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll put the engines on hot or on cold or on slipstream. Yeah, there you go. So someone has to, go out in a jetpack and be like, right, what are we doing? Warp 10?
It almost is. First thing that popped into my head was like the turrets on Deep Space Nine with the torpedo turrets, the rotating one. That would be very cool, but I don't think that's what it is, especially between two warp engines.
And between two warp engines and an impulse engine. All the powers going through that. I mean, yeah, great idea though. So what makes me think of is that it's a port to put the deuterium in, like a direct plug, like a petrol spot. I mean, maybe, and then it just filters into both nacelles, because that's going to need quite a lot of maintenance to keep those babies going.
I would think. Look at like the size of those Bizarre collectors is insane.
Yeah, but that also explains it, because you need that much juice to go into it. But it's good. It's a good photo.
Right, so the next one, this is a cool dynamic shot.
That's beautiful.
Like that. And those are a little bit, are those sleeker engines than what we saw? No, they're the same.
It's a great picture. This shows actually that the sleekness, even with that big bulk, it still looks sleek, very, very sleek. I think this would look good in motion, like proper animated show motion. And those impulse engines look nice. They look like torpedo launchers. How the exterior detail is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is an odd shot because it doesn't look like it's in game. It looks nicer than in game, or they got the lighting perfect.
The lighting's awesome on that hull.
Yes, that's beautiful. And it's sort of a cross between Prometheus and Icarus, the styling of the back. Yeah. But I like that a lot. I think more ships should have that, because that's kind of not too far, but far enough to make those four nacelles look really good.
Yeah, and it's interesting the way that the blue kind of curves around the back of the nacelle. You don't see that too often.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of an interesting take.
Yeah, and you can see all the escape pod hatches as well. There's a lot more on secondary hull. And there's a phaser strip as well on the bottom, as with Voyager. None on the warp engines though, from what I can see, which is fine. But sometimes they have them.
Mm-hmm.
Great shot though, really nice shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the next picture is interesting. Is it? Hold on, is it separating? Can you see?
It looks like it is, because there's a gap between.
You can see stars, yeah. Or is that just a problem with the mesh? Because, I mean, first of all, what on earth all those lights?
That's it. I don't know.
It's not reflecting from the planet because it's black.
It looks almost like that center part's rising out.
It really does, like as if the whole front bit is coming out and then up, out, then out, up and then out. Sorry, which would be interesting. I could see that as being a cool separation. I don't know. That would be really interesting, though.
And that's not a problem with the mesh, because if you look over, if you zoom in on the right-hand side, there's stars between that too, so it does look like it is separated. Or there's, I don't know. That's very strange. It's a cool picture. Don't get me wrong.
And it is the USS Manticore, which implies this is actually a promotional image.
Yeah. Wow.
That would be fun. Then it almost, when we take the front out, it looks like a Trade Federation half ship, the back bit. But I kind of like that. Like this is almost the scene from Generations where it has to split and then go into the atmosphere with that fire. But obviously, it's neither going in the atmosphere nor on fire. But it has that same vibe, the same style of shot, which is weird because it can't. But yeah, maybe it can.
If anybody knows what's going on here, does it separate? Is this some kind of special feature of it?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments because we love reading your insights, and maybe one day we'll do an actual full episode on these ships. So.
Yeah, actually use it. I think I'm inclined to go possibly get this ship. It's cool, and see what the engine variants and stuff you can get, because that might not even be the best one of it. Maybe. Don't know.
Yeah, it's a good thing about Star Trek Online. You can kind of play with your designs a little and make them more yours.
Which we don't do because we like cannon ships.
Yeah. This last picture is a dynamic shot.
Now this is again not the game.
No.
So someone must have a 3D model of this and made it themselves, but that is lovely.
The USS White Rose. Kind of an interesting name for a ship, but
93235C.
The interesting thing I'm noticing about this is it's got different style. No, it doesn't. I thought it had different style engines.
Oh, it does. The facades are different.
Oh, okay.
Because in the first, everyone else they're this like shimmering, fully formed thing. In this, they're just two slits, pretty much.
More kind of like a hive-like structure behind them.
This one is less detailed, but more armored. It feels like.
Mm-hmm.
The hull's simpler. I really like that, and it's got slightly different armoring on the sides. And you can see the bridge dome. You can see it in other versions, but it's a bit more obvious here, which I quite like. It feels that back feels very, very Icarus, very, very Icarus from Renegades, which I like.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like they've taken the color out of the ship a little bit, the hull color.
Yeah.
Obviously now just firing weapons. But I like this. It's cool. It's definitely under attack by something green, and it's firing red things, which I don't know what they are because they're not torpedoes.
Yeah, it almost harkens back to that last picture. Maybe it's some kind of special deployment weapon or something, because it's very
chain reaction pulsar.
I don't know.
Star Trek Armada joke there. Star Trek Armada 2. I like it, but I'm a bit confused because it's different, but it's the same. Oh, and the impulse engines aren't there either. If you look on, wait, are they not there? Or are there three of them? Because they're not very thick if there are three of them. Or is it the entire length of the pylon?
It looks like the entire length of the pylon, but only the center ones are operating right now. I don't know. I gotta zoom in here. Hold on. It looks like, is it being attacked by species 8472? There's those green things on the saucer.
Well, I think they're flying in. That's my interpretation. They're fighters. They're flying in. And then at the back, they've attached.
It's just odd placement for both those fighters to be at the exact same part on this phaser strip. It's almost like it's part of the ship somehow.
Possibly. Yeah. Don't know. If you made this photo, let us know. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And lovely starfield and
yeah, great shot. I love this ship. I definitely got to go in game later tonight.
Oh, it hasn't got the sensor pod. That's what the difference is.
Oh, wow! I knew there's something different about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
It's because it now feels way flatter, way more streamlined, but it is now missing it.
And going back to the sensor pod, the round one, what would you think about a nebula style one that's more of a triangle shape? I think that might suit this ship fairly well.
Well, let's move on back to the first picture, the really beautiful one. I mean, yes, I think that would work. Because the circle one is a bit odd. It's kind of like, it's basically a Tron throwing disc thing. That's what it is. It works because it's odd, but it's a new technology sort of odd. But I think the nebula.
Yeah, just a more kind of aerodynamic shaped pod at the top. You don't need aerodynamics in space. I realize this, but the pointiness of things makes it look more aggressive and kind of faster. I think restyling that pod might be an interesting idea.
But yeah, that is a good looking ship, great looking ship. End on. Any last thoughts, Stuart?
Like I said, I'm going in-game later tonight and trying to snag one of these up because I really want to see the variations and variants you can do for this. And I just want to see it flying around. I want to be able to rotate my camera around it.
And
just
who knows, there might actually be a Nebula-style sensor pod for it.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. So, you've got to put in the comments below, Stuart, what you think of the ship later on. You should do that. Go find out. Put it in the comments below. As
Thanks.
should
Now I have homework. Thank you, Samuel.
So everyone else, yourself, tell us what you think of this ship. Have we been a bit too favourable on it? Do you think it's a bit weird? Or do you think, yep, this is a good Star Trek Online ship? Because there are great Star Trek Online ships. Those guys had a lot of freedom, a lot of odd things they could do, and they did some pretty nice stuff. So, thank you for joining us for this next episode. Tune in next week for another Trekyards Mission Briefing Star Trek Online. Possibly, we don't know. I'm going to change that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed this Star Trek Online special. Hope you've enjoyed all the Star Trek Online specials. We've had a lot of fun looking at the weird and wonderful ships, and hopefully we'll do some more at some point. But yeah, any last thoughts, Jip?
No, I'm just looking forward to seeing all your comments and what you guys think about this ship.
And the Star Trek Online design aesthetic in general.
Yes.
But until then, guys, have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
All right.